Why did the Black Panther Party get such a bad reputation when it sounds to me as if many of the social programs and things that you guys wanted to do as an organization were really positive?
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with the press. In fact, it was in the late 60s, early 70s. We were painted as a gang. One of the things we wanted to show black people was that you have a right to defend yourself. And so that's basically what we were doing. I mean, the black leather jackets and the berets and what have you. I mean, we wore the uniforms basically to show black people, you know, that look, you know, we're acting in an organized manner. You know, we're an organized group of people. And a lot of it, the uniforms were basically to attract attention. Because, and probably many of your parents probably experienced this also, it was very, very difficult to move around freely on the street because you had a police department that was mainly recruited from the South. So you had a lot of white racists who basically behaved in the same manner as they would in the South, and we had to let them know that, you know, you're not going to treat us like this. Back in 1964, when I was 12, I was riding my brand new Schwinn Stingray bicycle up the hill from my parents' home on 47th Street in Southeast San Diego. As I reached the intersection of 47th and Market, I could hear the tires of a car slowly following behind me or just off to my right on the gravel of the adjacent parking lot. As I came to a stop at the red signal light, I heard a man's voice with a distinctly southern drawl call out, "Boy, come over here." The sound of the voice scared me, so I froze for a few seconds. By the time I recovered and turned around, I saw two white policemen getting out of their white cruiser. The officers came over to me and said, "Would you come with us for a ride?" I was horrified and looked around for help. My mouth was so dry that I couldn't shout or speak. Not one word would come out. I was petrified as I straddled my bike. I couldn't even raise my arms to wave and draw the attention of the people who were passing by, many of them friends of my parents. Cars passed and the people in them were just looking at this scene as if it were normal. The policemen took my bike from me and put it in the trunk of their car, opened the back door, and told me as one of them squeezed my arm to get in. Like a frightened fool and the innocent I was, I hopped in. They drove me up the hill on Market Street toward downtown San Diego. After a 10 or 15-minute ride, they pulled into a residential area just short of downtown and drove up to several other police officers and a young white couple. The car stopped and the cop on the passenger side got out and walked over to the group of people after a few brief words, which I could not hear. The officer pointed towards me sitting in the back seat, explaining something to them as he pointed. The cop and the couple walked over to the car and peered in. By this time, my entire body was shaking with fear. All I could think about was going home and never riding my bike again. They looked at me in the back seat, conferred, and looked again. The couple looked at each other and spoke a few words I couldn't hear. They never rolled the window down. The white man stood back from the window, shaking his head from side to side. He then took his woman by the hand and walked back toward the six or so policemen, and they huddled again. The policemen returned to the car. They drove me back to 47th Street and pulled into the parking lot where I had been kidnapped. I mean, you know, and the rest of it goes up, you know, it was a little crowd and stuff. My mother was there, and so, I mean, basically what this is, they weren't, you know, they had no right to take me anywhere. And so, you know, if you move a person against their will from one place to another, that's kidnapping. So basically that's what they did. And I was 12 years old. I didn't really understand what was going on, but, you know, my parents grew up in the South, and, you know, and they explained to me, you know, that, you know, a lot of times black men are taken away and they never see you again. And I think, are you guys familiar with Emmett Till? Yeah, you know, the same thing kind of happened in Emmett Till, but it was, you know, it was worse off. But they, you know, an excuse that whether he whistled at some white woman or something like that. I mean, I don't think that justifies someone murdering.
Back when he was growing up, there was a lot to be inspired by. It was a lot to look forward to. And now it's like the TV are bringing up our teens, the streets is bringing up our teens, the jails is raising our teens, and, you know, we feel is not a lot to look forward to because of so much that's going on in our communities.
You can't speak for a generation as a whole. You can only speak for yourself. And I feel like you could do whatever you want to do. If you want to be a dropout, you're going to be a dropout. If you want to proceed and become something of yourself, you're going to do it.
If they're going to make it harder for you, you make it harder for them. If they don't want you to succeed, you got to learn how to corner the system. Since the system is trying to corner you, you got to learn how to corner the system. I mean, my thing is, the best way to corner the system is to be educated.
I agree exactly what he said, but at certain points, I believe that our people are raised not to be nothing, you know, and I also believe it's the lack of parental support with our generation, that the reason why we're on the streets and doing, you know, being street pharmacists and whatnot, instead of being in the schools and being educated like he said.
I believe that, yes, it's true, we do need a good, you know, us as a people, we need a good education in order to succeed in life. But also, I think that's not enough. I also think you gotta be real clever. I mean, education, yeah, it can get you pretty far out there, but you gotta know how to manipulate them also to get ahead in life. Not in a negative way, but just, you know, to overcome the system. Because like what Justin said, the system is out to get you. So you gotta step up, you gotta know what you're doing. And one thing that I've learned through my personal experience, people cannot stand a clever, resourceful black person.
When I was in prison, and I had, you know, all of my friends were there, and I was, you know, would talk with them, and, you know, basically most of them had dropped out of school, you know, and I mean, I dropped out of school too, you know, but I actually went back and got my GED, you know, because my you know, I mean, even though I was in the Black Panther Party, I still, you know, listened to my parents.
Do you mind if we ask, who were you assigned to kill, and if you did ever kill somebody,
You know what?
how many people did you kill?
I have a book coming out, and I'll let you wait and read the book. Okay?
All right. And did you ever kill someone?
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. Thank you.
Who are you? Flores Forbes. Who are you?
I said, who am I?
Yeah, who are you?
I'm a black man. I'm living. It's funny. We had a celebration internally, and our chief financial officer, he did a poem, you know, like a poetry slam type thing, right? And his poem was basically the tagline. I'm an angry black man, you know, and you know, I don't necessarily think that I'm angry in that sense, but I believe that you know, if we don't fight, we're going to be disenfranchised, and you have to constantly struggle to maintain you know, your sanity here, you know, and I've been doing that all my life. You know, you know, when I joined the Black Panther Party, I was a really young man, but I was someone who was victimized. I was oppressed by the police departments of this country, and the only way I felt that I would be able to walk down the street and hold my head up, which is what I really wanted to do, was to fight back. Mm-hmm. And you know, and I believe that basically is who I am. I think that I'm continuing the same struggle, you know, by other means. You know what I mean? I'm better educated now. You know, I'm a professional urban planner, and I've been armed.
How important was that, though? How important was that for coming to this realization?
It was really very important. I never thought I would be doing anything else in life. You know, and when I made this transition, you know, I was, you know, it was like after it was all over with. You know, and I think that was, you know, it was part of my life. I grew up. I didn't know anything else but that.
So you went to the edge, just to the edge.
No, it went over the edge. It went over the edge.
Are you like that in your nature? Like you
Nah.
gotta go to the edge and then?
Nah.
No, because a lot of people are.
I'm a lot more. I'm a lot calmer.
Oh,
I'm a lot more understanding now, because I think the extreme struggle is over.